The MCU has a new Captain America, and Sam Wilson's Falcon successor might have been introduced all in the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. BD here, welcome to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier era. It's officially begun. R.I.P. WandaVision. We're back with your weekly video breakdowns. Safe to say we've all learned our lesson, and you won't hear me talk about Mephisto or aerospace engineers in any of these videos, no matter how much my tinfoil hat wants me to point out that a mention of a secret base on the other side of the moon could be a reference to the Inhumans or Magneto or literally anything from the comics, but we're not going to do that here in this video about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1.
Calm down, dude.
Let's start at the finish. The MCU has a new Captain America. This man from the end of the episode who looks like the old man from Up if he unsuccessfully tried to steal Steve Rogers' swagger is John Walker. This is a character who operates in a gray area in terms of hero or villain in Marvel Comics, and he actually is best known for being US Agent, though he has other aliases like Super Patriot, and he oftentimes has bad things to say about our real Captain America, Steve Rogers. He currently has the MCU's Cap Shield, and you can bet Sam and Bucky are going to want to get that thing back. It's just a question of how difficult that's going to be. John Walker's reign as Cap, probably not long for that world.
It's going down.
Now let's talk about Sam Wilson. For some reason, it's unnecessarily difficult for an Avenger to get a bank loan, but Sam is trying to make things right with his family after having all but left them behind and joining the military and then the Avengers. Sam has a conversation with James Rhodes, which was really cool. That's War Machine, a Tony Stark legacy character. Let's go. It's their first interaction since Avengers Infinity War, and there's an interesting line here saying that allies are now enemies. Given this is months after the blip and WandaVision was merely a couple of weeks after the blip, I can't help but wonder if this is a reference to Wanda Maximoff possibly being a villain as she heads into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but I don't want to go too far down that road.
Okay, tap the brakes a little.
Then it's worth pointing out Falcon's successor might have been introduced in this episode. Sam's military buddy Torres could be the Joaquin Torres, aka the man who becomes Falcon in Marvel Comics. We all expect Sam to go on to become Captain America, so a successor should be in order, right? In fact, Torres first appeared in Captain America Sam Wilson #1 as a photograph in the comics before a full appearance in Captain America Sam Wilson #3, and then became Falcon in issue #6. And by the way, those books are only from 2015 and 2016, so this character is relatively new. It does seem that Captain America has officially died by the time this show starts because Sam says,
and he's gone.
just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. And in the other half of the show, because this was more like the Falcon or the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes is trying to get his 106-year-old brain acclimated to life in this new modern world, and as Crossbones so eloquently put it back in Civil War, that brain has been put in a blender so many times. So he's ignoring Sam's texts, and he's seeing a therapist to try to work through the PTSD of being a Hydra soldier, which not only includes him killing major characters like Tony Stark's parents, but also people like his friend Yori's son. As he said previously in the MCU, he remembers every single one of them, and it's haunting him in his nightmares. And no, we are not talking about the Marvel character Nightmare. No, this is a literal nightmare. Whew. I'm having WandaVision PTSD myself.
I think I got PTSD too.
Oh, no, we don't have that.
Huh?
Yeah, I actually slept about 10 hours last night, dude, and I feel great.
Bucky is carrying a list of names of people he wants to get revenge against because he apparently watched the first season of Arrow, and the couple of noteworthy names on this list are L. Kaminsky, a reference to beloved Marvel Comics writer Len Kaminsky, S. Whitaker, a popular comic creator who worked on What If books and Super Soldiers, and at the top of the list you'll see A. Rostov, which is short for Colonel Andre Rostov, aka Red Barbarian, aka a villain who wanted Stark Tech and worked at Bucky's Gulag in the comics. Methinks Bucky is about to send him to the old Gulag. Call of Duty players get it.
The Gulag.
A gulag?
Gulag. The big house.
La Casa Grande.
Then there's Bucky sleeping on the floor, which is a reference to Sam and Steve's conversation back in Captain America the Winter Soldier about coming back from war and thinking their mattresses are too soft, so they would rather sleep on the hard ground. This show is really going to take a deep look at the mental health of these characters, the PTSD they're going through, and this seems like not only just a nice nod, but a really cool way to tie them together in an integral and emotional fashion. Now let's talk about the villains of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Flag Smashers. In the comics, Flag Smasher is just one person named Carl Morgenthau, who is basically a super skilled martial artist who longs for eliminating borders and nationalism on every level. I think we're going to see the one-man terrorists become an entire terrorist group on the show, centered around the masked super soldier leader played by Aaron Kellerman of Solo: A Star Wars Story. Kellerman's character is named in the credits as Carly Morgenthau, So there's a clear Flag Smasher comic story coming into play. All in all these characters could be working for, or at least inspired by Baron Zemo, the villain from Captain America Civil War, who is returning here in all of his purple mask glory later down the line. And writer Malcolm Spellman tells me that's the character he is particularly hyped for.
It's all front and center. And it's funny because as we did different iterations of this, all the stuff you're talking about, who Zemo is, what he did in his past for his country, where that mask came from, all just became tangled into one personal storyline of a man whose country, city, and family were destroyed by superheroes who he views as villains, right? And so Zemo believes he's a hero in this series. You know what I'm saying? And all of that is tethered to something very, very personal for him. And I got to say, man, Daniel Bruhl, like, Sebastian and Anthony can take everything out the park, but Daniel Bruhl was like, I'm going to steal every scene I'm in if I can. He was great.
If this guy from the beginning of the episode in that opening action sequence looks familiar, well, that's Patrica Leeper, who you might know because he looks like Macklemore, but more realistically from the MCU. You might know him because he got his ass kicked by Captain America in the opening sequence of Captain America the Winter Soldier. Will he be back on the show? Yeah, I think so, probably. My bet is he's spending time in Madripoor where criminals are basically in a safe haven, and maybe he'll even get a swaggy purple suit like he has worn on the comic pages. Look at us, we started the video at the end of the show, we're ending the video at the start of the show. I don't know. What Easter eggs and references did you catch in the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Drop them in the comments or send them my way on Instagram at BrandonDavisBD. And head over to Comicbook.com/Marvel for more updates. And might I add, you should subscribe to the Phase Zero podcast, diving into all things MCU. New episodes are available on all major podcast platforms. Our most recent episode, we talked to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier director, Kari Skogland. I'm BD. I'll see you there.